You ready? Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what calc's all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% homework, 20% will, 19% concentrated algebra skill, 1% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to always in the grade.
I'm like, you don't need an A in the class, you just need to get a 5 on the AP to pass in our class. You better not be on your phone, or you won't be able to learn all of these things on your own. But don't fret, you know the drill. It's not about trigonometry, it's all about solving limits and not making a fuss. Graphing the curve, finding the inflection points. That means use your TI-83 or 80 for plus. Let's go.
What is calculus anyways? I never really learned much. Never studied for tests and ended with a B+. Do my integrals on my calc despite the fact that I can use integration by parts to complete that act. Set up UNDV right now, the integral works. Never ask for someone's help, but use the formulas first. If it's an improper integral, its sum is beyond reach. Use a variable t to replace the infinity.
Tests are 20% skill, 80% fear, be 100% clear. AP graders are here. Would've thought you had to rotate just around the y. Do the integral of the radius squared times dx and pi. Came back, dropped BC, took them to class. I suck at calc, man, why you gotta hate on my ass? Partial fractions are cool, but everyone's using that trig sub. The stress is through the roof, I test they must be coming up.
This is 10% homework, 20% will, 19% concentrated algebra skill, 1% pleasure, 50% pay, and 100% reason to differentiate.
When I first arrived in integral, I couldn't do it, but then I got the fundamental and learned how to prove it. Who knew I could use it to break a problem in half? Anti-derivatives, bounds, and then I subtract. Matter of fact, on a graph there's a local min or a max at the zeros. On the flip side, a function equals area elapsed under its derivative plus a constant to finish it. Box your answers in order to make it definitive.
I shift the narrative to concavity, it's a BC imperative. Makes you aware of its shape, up is happy, down the face of disgrace. To find the concavity there are two ways. The first is to take second derivative. If you don't, there is an alternative. Use the derivative to see when the sign changes, to check it, make a number line and arrange it. Deriving can be harder with x's and y's on both sides. Take d over dx on both sides and derive. So easy that if you want an answer to elicit, follow my instruction, called implicit.
This is 10% homework, 20% will, 19% concentrated algebra skill, 1% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to determine the rate.
They call it chain rule slip, derived from the outside then in. Use it on multiple functions, all being derived in conjunction. Derivation's handy and fun, and to find the slope of a line, just gotta bring the exponent down and then subtract it by 1. For polynomials, it's called the power rule. It's one of AP Calculus's most important tools. Integrate all powers except for -1. If you don't use ln at all, then you'll get everything wrong.
D-money, NMC on parametric flight. Give an x v of t function that's shown as a flat line, but that v of y is much harder to relate. It's a downward slant that varies with time, and it's a pain to integrate. It wants me to solve when the ball hits the flow. That's when the integration of v of y equals 0. I saw this question, yo. Pray Lord, yeah, man. It was the kinematic from physics that saved me again.
Brace yourself, we talk about series without a rest. Limit comparison, root, integral, all these tests. If limit a over b equals c and c is 1, they both do the same, but now we need to find the sum. Geometric's easy, alternating, errorless, and a n plus 1. Add up all the terms, thank God you're finally done. Now you haven't seen anything if you think Gimmet is hard. I taught Mystery of Math, boy I'm Dr. Rod.
This is 10% homework, 20% will, 19% concentrated algebra skill, 1% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the calc. This is 10% homework, 20% will, 19% concentrated algebra skill, 1% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the calc. D-Money, Sleeping Beauty, Pure Genius, MC Squares, Dr. Smooth Rod.